The contract is short and to the point, just 3 pages. It's between BP and marine scientists and researchers along the Gulf, hired for their expert witness services.
Sounds pretty harmless, right? Hardly, say the scientists we spoke with who tell us they've been approached by BP. The way they see it, BP is tying up expert witnesses who might otherwise testify for the federal government when the government files its natural resources damage assessment lawsuit. The scientists also say that BP is trying to prevent the scientists' ongoing research and findings about the spill from being made public.
BP's contract states all communication between the scientists and BP attorneys should be considered, quote, privileged and confidential. It also says scientists have to wait 3 years after they sign the contract to publish their findings, or at least until the natural resource damage assessment is complete. It is BP's apparent attempt to insulate itself from oil litigation. No matter what the scientists find, good or bad, they can only share it with BP. Robert Weigel, a Mississippi environmental lawyer who has clients with claims against BP, looked over the contract. He says BP is trying to buy silence by taking key scientists out of circulation.
The public's going to need the best science that they can get to make sure that the damage from the spill gets fixed, gets compensated for, and then it gets done in the best possible way. And if you lock up the people who know the most about this, who are the scientists in the research institutions down here, the public's not going to get what it ought to out of that process.
Texas A&M professor Norm Guinasso says he was contacted by BP within days of the spill to be, quote, part of their legal defense. Professor Guinasso's been studying oil seeping into the Gulf for 30 years, but refused to agree to BP's restrictions since they would prohibit him from publishing his research.
They told me that I couldn't work for anybody else, that I could not speak out publicly about the oil spill, and I told them I probably was not interested. I didn't think it was ethical.
The professor says BP called again, asking him to reconsider, but again he turned the company down.
It seems BP is shopping for experts all along the Gulf Coast. Besides Texas A&M, the University of Southern Mississippi told us BP reached out to hire some of their scientists. They all declined. And at the University of Southern Alabama, BP tried to hire 60 experts, including marine scientists and graduate students. The university told the oil giant, no thanks.
We laid out the stipulations that we would require if we entered into such an agreement with them. And I guess the main thing was total transparency, that anything we discovered, would be available to the scientific community.
Total transparency, not one of BP's strong suits since the oil began leaking 91 days ago.